Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val.
And we are here for our ugly Christmas party sweater ugly Christmas sweater party.
Yes,
there
you go. An ugly Christmas party.
Ugly Christmas sweater episode.
Yes.
And we're here doing a live recording, which I think is a really funny phrase. We are here live with people.
Yes.
But
people.
we're recording for later.
Correct.
It's a live recording.
Yes. So if you're watching this, it's already happened. It's not happening right now.
Sorry,
like in Spaceballs.
sorry
Is
to
this happening now?
Yeah. Is this
happening
now?
right
now?
Yes, this is now. Exactly.
But this is fun because if it works out and we have a few people here tonight, we're at Galaxy of Games at 1817 West 900 South.
9,000 South.
9,000 South.
Right.
Sorry. If it works well tonight, we might be doing this more and more where you
Yes.
can actually be a part of our studio audience, our game store audience.
Yes.
And you'll hear some laughter, some cheering, maybe some booing at some of the
Possibly.
movies that we picked tonight.
Depending on what Jake's picks are.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
pretty
I'm
sure
the one that will get
at
the
least
booze.
2 of mine will get booed. Okay, at least 1 for sure of mine will get booed tonight. So
All right.
I don't know, but I came to win. I thought that was the.
Ooh.
you know me, I have to just go with my heart.
I know.
Not my heart doesn't always win.
Sometimes it does.
But you
though.
won the lottery with Dave.
Oh yeah,
So,
I did.
You're welcome, babe.
There,
That's
shout
code
out,
name for
shout out
Dave.
to Babe. Yeah.
I didn't want people to think that I was calling Val babe because that would be awkward.
But we would have always known.
yeah.
He would have
But
known.
Dave is babe.
But now I feel like you've let people in on our relationship with
secret.
Babe. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
it's all right.
I'm open on my relationship, so. Wait a minute, that could be taken wrong.
This went weird.
It went weird, really fast.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
So tonight's episode is non-Christmas Christmas movies. So these are movies
I'm
that
hoping I did
take
this right.
place during Christmas. So sometime during the movie, Christmas is happening,
Right.
and then but it's not like it's not known
The
to be a Christmas
typical-
movie.
Yeah, it's not. People don't think of this as a Christmas movie.
Right.
When I tried to explain this, so we may have a special guest joining us a little bit later in the show. When I explained to him what we were doing, I used Die Hard as the comparison, and I know that's going to get boos from people because it is a Christmas movie in a lot of people's hearts, and I don't want to ruin
But this
that.
is the thing. In your hearts is whatever. It's not a Christmas movie. It's a movie that happens during Christmas. I specifically didn't
Yes.
pick this movie because I thought one of you would pick it. So I did not make this one of my picks.
What, Die Hard?
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's-
none of
that's
us
low
picked
hanging
Die
Also-
Hard because that is like
I've been
That's
in
a
too
low
the
many.
hanging
epitome
fruit. Yeah.
of non-Christmas Christmas
I've
movies.
been in too many arguments online about whether or not it is a Christmas movie that I wasn't going to pick it. It's a-
Are you scared?
There's people on either
always.
side.
Can we bring up something online right now that's bothering me just because it came out
Sure.
this week and we should have
We
a
already talked
discussion
about
at
Avatar.
some
Listen,
point.
we haven't hit our 10 minutes of non-related topic
Yeah, I usually
yet. So
I usually
yeah.
have the counter in front of me, and
I
don't
know.
have
I've got it up, so I can.
Yeah.
But we found out just a couple days ago that Henry Cavill is not going to be Superman at the moment. We don't. I mean, they could bring him back later, but they basically announced him. And if you haven't seen Black Adam yet, sorry, it's your fault. But during Black Adam, at the end of the movie, here comes Superman.
I don't think
which
it is their
the
fault that they
best-
haven't seen Black Adam. I think there's a lot of
There's-
reasons it's not their fault.
Okay, well, at the end, there he is, and it gave me goosebumps. So I was so excited to
Yeah.
see Henry Cavill come back as Superman. Maybe have a chance to really, really like play this part
He
the way I
didn't
know
get to
he
be
can.
Superman.
I feel
Yeah.
like he is the Andrew Garfield
Uh-huh.
of the Superman
Yeah.
franchise.
Whereas he's a much better, like he's perfect for the role,
Yeah, he is.
but he never got the script or director that he deserves.
And
I
so they
agree.
announced that he's coming back in that way before James Gunn and what's his face?
Peter Safran.
Peter Safran
Yeah.
take over.
And I don't think it was really a whole lot from the studio. I think it was a lot from The Rock.
I'm pretty sure it was Dwayne Johnson.
That's
I
what
don't think he understands his role at Warner Brothers right
yeah,
now.
I think
He's
thinks
in charge of
head
the
Warner
accounting,
Brothers.
tell him like when the movie's in the black. He's in charge of casting rumors.
Yeah.
Somebody needs
He's
to.
in charge. If you
He
didn't know
spoiled
this
the
about
whole Henry
Dwayne the
Cavill.
Rock
Someone-
Johnson. He's just in charge.
Someone needs to tell him to shut his mouth and know his role.
Well, so on
I get that
Twitter,
reference.
You got that
yeah,
reference?
you got that.
I think I got it backwards, but I think
On
it still
Twitter
stands.
yesterday, I posted a picture of Henry Cavill's very, very classy response
Yes.
to tell
Yeah.
everybody what was going on, and we'll
Yes.
post that on our social if you haven't seen it. But I posted that on Twitter, and then I added Dwayne Johnson, and I said, "What the crap?" I
All
expect
right.
a response
Yeah.
from him.
Now, and once, and I got to give,
Henry Cavill.
well,
No.
Henry Cavill a lot of credit for being as classy as he was, but I have to give James Gunn a lot of credit because a lot of
Do
Hollywood
you?
execs, I do, because a lot of Hollywood execs, they won't take feedback from people, and like he is so open and honest online. Like he won't answer everybody's tweets, but
He answers a
he
lot. He
answers a
talks
lot.
to
He does
people.
respond a lot on
and
Twitter.
when he came out and explained why Henry Cavill wasn't going to be their Superman going forward, it makes sense.
So-
if you're doing,
How do
because-
you think they both felt when
Oh, I
when
bet they
Dwayne
were
Johnson was
terrified.
all
Or
over,
not
and
terrified,
then
but I bet they were pissed.
they found out that Superman was in Black Adam,
Right.
like this big, and we all
Yeah.
got they're probably just like, we're gonna be everyone's worst
I
enemy.
think that's
So-
absolutely
I,
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely think that's the case. I posted the same picture. I know it was the same picture, Val, because I actually just stole it from you.
I noticed because it had my time and
Yeah.
how much of the battery on my phone was
Yeah.
down, and yeah, you just reposted.
What would be
that
the?
from
I
me.
totally did. I stole it and reposted it,
It's fine. I stole
um,
it from someone else.
and then I shared it and said Henry Cavill's a classy guy, and James Gunn and Peter Safran can eat my shorts.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is about as extreme as Jake gets.
It is. That is as extreme as I get. Blake, welcome.
Hi, Blake.
Like we're
We're-
talking about
Pull up a chair. And
Watch out
come-
for the white
Jake
cord
was just
there. 'cause
Jake
that's our
was just
camera.
saying some bad words about James Gunn
He said, "Eat my
and-
shorts."
and Saffron about Henry Cavill. So, audience, what do you think about Henry Cavill not being Superman anymore? Are you like give me sad? Give
Sad.
me a yay if you're gonna miss it. Give me a yay
Seems-
if you don't care.
Seems backwards.
I think honestly the whole DCU needs to burn down and restart.
Oh, burn
So-
him to the ground.
So I think you're right.
Preach.
Marvel tried to do it with the current Shield, and they messed up there, and they kind of caught on a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, Arrow was way better than
Yeah.
anything. All those on CW were way better than any of the movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think all these start over.
so yeah.
Well, but
So
that
that's
wasn't due to this, though. I want to
It-
be very clear.
so people have connected that. I think afterward we came out that there were some creative differences between
he
him.
made a statement
Uh,
that
yeah.
there was. Yeah.
That's why I said it came out. I should have said he made the statement. But
Yeah. He
but-
made the statement right after
Yeah,
Witcher had
that
announced
it
he
was
wasn't.
nothing to do with Superman, but we all tied it together. And at the time, I don't watch The Witcher. It's not a show that I've been into, but my friends who do watch it, I comforted them by telling them that at least I got more Superman, which is not comforting for them, but comforting for me. But now I'm just sad
But
all
now
over.
nobody's getting anything. So I really want him to just, now everybody's throwing around
Yeah.
like where he's going to be in Marvel and everything. And I just
Okay,
would like him
not
to
every
do something
actor
cool.
needs to be in Marvel.
Yeah.
Number one. But I posted my post yesterday mainly to be funny. It got some reactions where I realized people didn't know I was trying to be funny. So I clarified today that similar to what the audience said, I think that this means that James Gunn and Peter Safran have a very strong vision and direction where they want to go with the DCU.
Yep.
And it's away from the Snyderverse, which means we're not going to see Gal Gadot back. We're not going to see
Ezra
Henry
Miller's
Cavill back.
Flash.
We're going to see Ezra
Well, the
Miller's Flash,
movie, but, he won't
but I
be
don't
in
think we're going to
future
see anything
projects.
after that. But
Well,
which I
but
didn't think we were gonna
also
see.
We're
the
not gonna see Black Adam
DCU has
2.
already said that they're going to have a bunch of movies that don't connect. They're having like 7 Batman
Well,
movies, and none of those Batman movies have anything
That
to
was
do with the
that
other
was
ones.
actually before Peter Gunn.
yeah, Peter
Well,
Gunn.
so it's
We've just
Peter Gunn.
merged them
Peter
together.
Gunn.
Peter
They're
Gunn.
now one person.
James Gunn and Peter Safran.
Peter Gunn and James
but some of
Safran.
those movies
The
have
original
already been
plan-
made, right?
Right. So they
Yeah.
said that the Batman will be its own separate thing.
Yeah.
And we still got the Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
There's one other one.
And you brought up a good point about the
But
Flash.
after that, I think that's when
He's burning it to the
burning
ground.
to the ground.
Peter Gunn is just going to burn
Peter
everything.
Gunn's the
I want to get a Peter Gunn T-shirt.
Yeah,
I think every DC movie should start with the Peter Gunn theme.
yeah, perfect. Perfect. By the way, listeners, that's
how we
Blake
know how we
Casselman.
differentiate.
He's back here with us today as a special guest, and we're so glad to have him. Welcome, Blake.
God, we've had Blake on
Welcome.
the show
I
before.
apologize for being late.
No, no worries.
I was driving in the dark looking for a lighted sign.
We are at Galaxy of Games, which is a newer game store at 1817 West, 9000 South.
Or not, yeah,
And it's a newer store, so yeah, it has a little smaller.
but they've been very gracious and
Yeah,
welcoming
it's a
to
cool
us, and so
place.
we're
This
glad
is
to
a
be
very
here.
cool place. Yeah, I didn't even know this was out here. I probably driven
Yeah,
past
it's
here
brand new.
a dozen times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, I'm like-
No idea.
Well, now you know, and
Now we
I
need
know.
to
know.
tell
Now I'm
everybody
gonna have
else.
to come
We're
back.
gonna
Everybody
be
else
giving
needs to
away
know.
some
Spend money.
prizes from Galaxy
When
of
I have
Games
money.
Another
tonight.
reason to spend.
So
Can I say one thing about?
Yes.
yes,
Cavill?
please, I would love for you to.
I feel kind of bad that his last appearance as Superman was this kind of thankless, tacked on mid-credit ending of Black Adam, which is a film that was okay.
Yeah,
It was really loud. Am I old? Because I feel
No,
like it was
really
so
loud,
loud.
yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what I remember about that movie. Is
Well-
that it was so loud.
and
It was
and-
loud and had lots of voiceovers,
yeah,
Yeah.
exposition dump
Yeah.
in it.
which is perfect for movies. Every movie should have a lot of exposition dump in it.
I feel like that was my band name in high school.
Exposition dump. I like it. Well,
Was that the band where you would just stand up
That's
and
Prague.
kind of talk
I
about
stood
your
there.
talk
and then
about
you
your
heard
past
this
instead
voice.
of play music?
yeah,
I
you
would
just
stand there, but then you'd hear a voice that
give
would
all the
explain what I was
background to
doing.
every give the background to every song you've written, not the song itself.
Now I want to see this happen.
I don't. It sounds awful. I mean, it sounds funny.
mean,
but,
I-
like,
I
it
honestly
sounds
think
funny
there's
like as a
probably
Saturday
a
Night
podcast
Live
out
skit.
there.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there
You don't
is.
need to go on
There's
for
like 2
hours.
million podcasts out there. I'm sure there's one that
So anyway,
an
I was
exposition
born
dump.
in California.
Well, let's skip forward a little bit. So, Blake, you are here because there is something that we want you to be able to
Yes.
share with our listeners because this is
Yes.
big news.
Yes, I have a new movie coming out in January.
Okay.
It's a psychological horror film called Limbo,
Okay.
and it's about a recently married couple
That's scary already.
who, on their honeymoon, get abducted and sent to one of the 9 levels of hell.
Holy
Whoa.
cow.
So it's about marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's marriage. Yeah.
I feel
Wait.
like I just got married.
It's everybody talks about what happens when the honeymoon phase is over. This is it.
Well, this happens during the honeymoon.
Well,
They don't. No, they don't even get up to their honeymoon.
it's the pre-honeymoon phase. No, I make those jokes to my wife sitting right there and helping with the camera. She knows that I'm joking.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Right, honey? Right?
It's gonna be a long car
So
ride home.
it's a psychological thriller and
Or
Horror.
horror.
Yeah.
For me, I like to change it to thriller just so I'll go see it.
okay, it's a psychological thriller.
Just so I'll
Slash
go to
horror
see it.
film.
Does
It's
Val,
like fine, change it to whatever you want. So you go hit the rom-com.
does Val need
No,
to
I
have
don't wanna see
Moana
rom-com.
locked and loaded after watching your film? Because
Maybe-
that's her palate cleanser. That's her horror palate
Like,
cleanser.
is it more of a suspense thriller or is it a slasher horror?
It's more of a suspense thriller
Okay, so
Okay.
there we go. Then I'm
that,
fine
you're
with that.
more into
That's
that?
fine.
Yes.
with some blood.
That's
Okay.
fine. I
And-
watched a Violent Santa movie and there was a lot of blood and I thought it was a hoot. I said hoot.
Between you and Tracy's Anna and the Apocalypse. By the way, is that on your list?
No, but it should be.
So the movie comes out January.
January 23rd.
And was it shot? Everything shot here in Utah?
Everything was shot in Salt Lake City.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really interesting because back in 2017, I'd read something on the internet that said a Brazilian film company is looking for scripts. And I thought, well, what can I write about Brazil? I've never been there.
Uh-huh.
I know nothing about it. I was like, what if an American couple who are recently married go to Brazil for their honeymoon and bad things happen to them?
Okay.
That's about as far as I got. But then a friend of mine, he's a local director named Mario DeAngelis. Some of you
Yeah.
know
I
Mario.
love Mario.
Absolutely.
Mario took me to this abandoned church in the north part of Salt Lake City
Uh-huh.
and said, "Can you write me a one location horror movie here?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then I got thinking about my abandoned Brazilian honeymoon gone wrong
Abandoned.
movie.
Abandoned church, abandoned movie. I like this. Okay.
Connections being made.
And I thought, well, what if what if the abduction happened before the honeymoon, before they had
Okay.
a chance to leave the city after their wedding was done?
Right.
And what if this church was like the portal to hell?
I'm definitely intrigued.
Wow.
And so I said, can I have two locations? Because there's the church, but also we needed to get the couple married.
Right.
Right.
And I pictured a backyard of a nice house because the main character, Damon, his father's wealthy. And so basically two locations.
Yeah.
For this
Nice.
film.
That's pretty good. Where will we be able to see it? Where will these two be able to see it? I don't usually do the horror films. I will for you, Blake.
It
Just
will
for
be-
you.
I think it'll be a more mellow horror film.
Okay. Okay.
But it's going to be on a new streaming service called Observable Universe.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can, from what I understand, it's just started recently, and I've checked it out, but I haven't really tried it. I've been told that you can subscribe to the streaming part of it, like any other streaming service, but there will also be the option of doing a digital purchase or rental
Oh, very
Okay.
on
cool.
the site as well.
Oh, very cool.
All in house.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Are you going to be doing like a in theater
Yes.
screening? Cool.
Yes, I can't remember the theater. It's in Utah County, but I'll send out invites to
Please. Yeah.
all
Awesome.
of you.
We'll put a link to Observable Universe. I was
Oh,
going to
is
say
this,
unobservable universe. but
Adam
that's-
Smith's. I think I know the person who runs this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll
That's
put a link.
also in Utah. So
Okay.
Yeah, it
Cool.
seemed like some of the people involved with the film have a relationship with the person running this.
yeah, I
streaming
think this
service.
is Adam Smith's baby. So nice.
Very cool. So we'll put a link in the description of the video and of the episode so you guys can go check out Observable Universe.
Say that 10 times as fast as you can.
I'm going to say it one time slow to make sure I get it right. And so you guys can go subscribe and then be able to see. Nope. Be able to see Blake's new movie, Limbo, which comes out January 23rd. That sounds awesome.
That's
Exciting.
cool.
I'm so
Thanks for sharing
excited.
that with us, Blake. Like, that's really cool. And we're excited for you.
What
Yeah.
was like, so shooting it at two locations makes it a little bit easier, but shooting like a thriller kind of horror film, that's a lot goes into like the way that looks. What was the hardest thing for you getting this movie done?
We were very fortunate to raise the money for the film on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The day we launched the Kickstarter campaign, Russia invaded Ukraine.
Oh,
Well, that's a good time to launch something, I
It's a
think.
good time to
And
ask
I
for
thought-
money.
And it was kind of a slow start, and I was like, well,
Time out. Time out.
people are distracted.
Yes.
But then, we started building the kitty. And then Brandon Sanderson announced his Kickstarter campaign.
Oh my gosh.
Which drowned out all the Kickstarters everywhere all the time.
Well, yeah, I checked it out, and it was amazing. It was in real time. You were watching this thing go from X number of $1 million to X number of $1 million to X number of
Oh
$1
my
million.
gosh.
Yeah, it was insane.
And I thought to myself, all right, he's getting all the money.
He's sucking all the
We
air
just
out.
need 1% of that.
But and I'm happy for Brandon and his people. I've worked with his team for a lot of years
Yeah.
at FanX, and I've really grown fond of them. So
Yeah.
I was cheering for them,
At
and
the same time, you're
at the
cursing
same-
him under your breath.
But you got it done.
but we got it done.
made.
We got it done. In fact, we exceeded the goal a little bit. So the hardest part was probably dealing with losing locations,
Yeah.
Oh.
and that's common.
Yeah.
In fact, the church that was kind of the
I wonder.
beginning of the whole thing, we lost that even before we started the Kickstarter campaign.
Was it the one that
Oh.
became a school or something like that? Or?
I don't know what it became,
Okay.
but somebody involved with ownership of the building, even though nothing was going on there at the time that we looked at it, heard movie and said, "Give me lots of money."
Because every
And-
movie
and-
has
and-
lots of
and-
money to give out. Only, again, if you have Dwayne Johnson in charge of your finances, because he has no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We didn't have Dwayne Johnson.
And
No, he wasn't involved in this.
you don't have
Unfortunately.
James Cameron directing.
No, we didn't have James
No
Cameron
offense to
directing.
Mario, but
So anyway, yeah, we had to kind of and there's a couple of the locations that were lost, and so it's really interesting, kind of this mode you get into of, okay,
what's next?
what's out there,
Yeah.
what's available, but luckily we found things. And even though this kind of hell dimension where a lot of the movie takes place is in one location, it was originally intended to be one location. We actually ended up shooting it at 3 different locations.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And each location represented part of the Limbo.
Okay. That's cool.
So
That's awesome.
exciting.
Well, stay tuned to our social media because in January, when all of this stuff starts happening, we'll make sure that we post about it so people can
Mhm.
do whatever they need to do to see it.
Support local film.
We have a lot of really cool friends of the
Yes.
program. Blake, you've got this movie coming out. We've got Larry Curtis, who has a movie coming
Yeah.
out in January as well. And I agree. Let's support local
the
film as
locals,
much as we
man.
can.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Love it.
that's all. We're movies that make us, but we like talking to people that make movies too.
Yeah.
To us that make movies. Doesn't work grammatically.
movies that make us make movies.
That's a whole that would be a great like spin-off series. Like, what were the movies that inspired you to go into filmmaking? You know, because
I
I'm
mean,
sure
yeah.
you hear about it all the time. Like, these are the movies that I watched
Yeah.
that said I want
I
to.
could do at least 5 episodes.
Yeah,
I could do a few episodes.
Yeah.
We'll have to do some
This is-
bonus episodes on the
project.
movies
Perfect.
that make us
Perfect.
make movies.
Got to get that in the. We've got some big plans for 2023.
We
We'll add that into the
do.
mix.
We
So,
do have some
Absolutely.
big plans.
so from Limbo and the however many realms of hell, how many? Two,
Well, there's 9.
9. So from the 9 realms of hell, let's move over to Christmas.
Which is also
Which
Depending on
sometimes-
depending on your experience,
this is
that
the
may
thing.
be.
I love Christmas. I don't
I know
want
you do.
people
You
to
love
think
Christmas.
that I don't love Christmas.
Right.
But unlike our friend Robert Neal, what he thinks of me, I don't watch a lot of Christmassy movies.
Right.
And especially not Hallmark
I
Channel.
don't
That was
want-
hurtful when he said that.
I don't watch the Hallmark Channel. I'm not against people that do. It's
No.
just not my thing.
That's not your
It's
jam.
not my thing. So when we were talking about what our Christmas episode would be this year, I like bringing up movies that have Christmas in it, but aren't necessarily these overly Christmas
Right,
movies.
right.
And so that's what we're talking about today. And we are each bringing 3 to the table.
Right?
We're going to talk about the 3. And then our audience here, who right now are not paying attention to us at all
Because
we're
we're
at
in
an
a really
awesome,
cool game store, yeah.
and they are playing free games, eating snacks that they bought here, and having a good time. They're going to vote on what is the best non-Christmas Christmas movie. And I'm going to start it off, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Please.
And I'm going to throw out a movie that if you've been listening to the show for almost 4 years now,
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Almost 4 years.
Couple
you will
months
know,
away.
you'll already know what one of my movies is because it's one of my favorite superhero movies that nobody else likes but me, and that's Iron Man 3.
That is correct. Everything you just said is absolutely correct.
I liked Iron Man 3. It's way better than Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 3 has gotten better with each screening I've done of it. I've seen it probably 4 times. First time,
Yeah.
no. But each subsequent time I've liked it better.
I'm still waiting for my sandwich. So
Your sandwich.
if you've seen Iron Man 3, that's a quote from the
been a little
movie.
while.
It's
Sorry.
I have not tried Blake's theory that it gets better with each additional screening. So I think I've seen it maybe twice.
I've seen it at least a dozen times.
And it makes me happy that it makes you happy. It also makes me happy that if Zonner's listening to this, it's making him angry because he hates the
Even if
Mandarin.
he's
and
not listening somewhere, he's like,
somewhere he
This
can
is the
feel
thing-
that we're
this is
saying
the thing
positive
about-
things about it.
And I know we've gotten into it before, but I'm going to get into it a little bit of why I think that it is a really good non-Christmas Christmas movie is because you go into it thinking that you're going to get this amazing superhero movie. You get a superhero movie where you get so emotional, one, because they just totally ruin the villain, which I've learned later what they did because I didn't really know
Yeah.
much about that storyline until later. And I watched it and I'm like, why is this villain so stupid? But you also get to see one of our favorite superheroes get to his lowest of lows,
Right.
and he has to start leaning on people around him. And he gets to meet this kid who I just thought was such a cool I just thought it was a really cool storyline in the midst of the crazy storyline that was going on around it, who just really made him seem more like a regular Joe that he is. Because Iron Man is, I mean, other than being like this bazillionaire that's super smart, he has superpowers because he makes himself have superpowers.
Sure.
And he is an earth-based superhero, which is my favorite style of superhero. But you get to see him go to his lowest of lows, and that starts this like
Redemption.
it starts the redemption phase of him in the MCU, which we see then this huge arc until we all ball in Endgame. So for
Yeah.
me, I love it. And the fact that Christmas just kind of happens in the middle of this movie also made me really happy as well.
Iron Man or Tony Stark
Yes.
connecting with a child
Yes.
in that film was a precursor to the relationship he had with
Yes.
his daughter
That's a
in
good point.
Endgame.
It also was a precursor of us knowing that he could have such a tight relationship with Peter Parker, which we
That's
didn't
true,
know was
too.
going to be coming. But it was getting us comfortable with the fact that he was this human superhero, right? Because before we just thought, oh, he's just this like womanizer, millionaire, super
Philanthropist,
like
playboy.
oversmart playboy. And in this movie,
whatever it
we
is,
see
Captain
him.
America.
We see him get literally knocked through the ground.
Yeah.
We see him having to really have to analyze his life, and I think that happens a lot to us during this time of year.
Yeah.
A
Sure.
lot of people really have like a down cycle during the holiday season. And so for me, it just was, it hit a whole lot of things that I really appreciated. And so I think if you haven't watched it, and yes, I'm going to say it again, we get the redemption in Shang-Chi with this villain. And
We
now
do.
that Shang-Chi is out, I feel like this movie can be a better watch for most people that didn't like it before, now that they've tied everything together.
Well, and having that disappointment of this idiot named Trevor
Yes.
as this character who is playing this villain who I loved from the comics,
Yes.
Right.
and being disappointed about that. Now that we do have the real Mandarin, did I say that right?
Mandarin? Yeah,
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
I kept thinking in my head the Mandalorian, and I'm like, that is
That's
so
not right.
wrong.
The Mandarin.
That's
Yeah.
a different. That's in a different
So I'm glad
galaxy,
you
far,
said the
far
Mandarin
away.
because I had forgotten.
Now I go back and watch Ben Kingsley's performance,
Yes.
both in Iron Man 3 and in the short,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The short is so good.
All hail the king.
All Hail the King. And it's one of the funniest performances
Yeah.
in the MCU.
Yeah.
I do agree with what Tracy said that it is better than Iron Man 2.
Okay. All right.
I think but I'm not a huge Iron Man fan, and these movies didn't make me more of an Iron Man fan. But I do think it was better than Iron Man 2. And I probably give it more grief than I should, mainly because I know how much you like it, and it's just kind of fun to
fine.
needle that
The
a
cool
little bit.
thing about me is that I'm gonna like it.
I
even
know.
if I'm the
Regardless.
only person on earth
I know, but
that
it
likes
becomes
it, and
it
I'm
becomes
okay
kind
with
of that
it.
fun, friendly banter
Yes,
back and forth
yes.
about it.
But I knew bringing that one to the game, like it would get 0 votes tonight, just because I know a lot of people love to hate Iron Man 3, just like they love to hate Avatar.
That's
I agree. We just talked about that on
Yeah.
our Avatar review.
Yeah.
Not The Last Airbender, although people do hate that movie as well, but they should because it was awful.
that one, but yeah,
It was so
I'm not an M.
bad.
Night fan, so I just avoided that one.
Well, it wasn't good for M. Night fans, and it wasn't good for fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It just wasn't good for
I'm
anybody.
fans of cinema.
All right, the next one of mine I've talked about on the show before,
Okay.
and I want to bring it up again because I think it's a movie that I'm not usually a rom-commy kind of movie, and I like Goer, and I really love it, and it's called The Holiday. But
Yes.
it's called
That's
The
a good
Holiday
one.
not because of the Christmas holiday, but because these two people go on a holiday and they switch houses.
And I
It
still
has-
wonder every time, like, is that
Yeah.
something that happens that people just like, hey, you want to come stay at my house? I'll go stay at your
Yeah,
house.
it
And-
happens more and more now. They have
Okay.
apps for that. But Cameron Diaz,
That's
Jude
Airbnb,
Law,
right?
Kate
it's not
Winslet.
Airbnb though. Like Airbnb, it's like I'm paying you to stay at your house. But this was more like, hey, if you want to come stay here, I'll come stay at your
Yeah.
house, and we'll
Go
just
to America,
we'll
I'll go
swap
to Europe.
seats.
It's Air, you and me.
Air you and me.
Air, you and me.
But I love it because
Don't Google that, kids.
we have Jack Black in this movie who gets to show us a different side of him
Yeah,
that
I
we
really
hadn't-
like
that
Jack
we
Black.
hadn't seen at this
Wild
point.
man, yeah.
But I also love Eli Wallach.
Hmm.
He's the older man in this movie,
Uh-huh.
and him and Kate Winslet
Oh.
and how they are on screen together just
Yeah.
makes me so happy. Like it's just like that meet cute. They explain
Yeah.
it in the movie, that meet cute, but it happens. Christmas happens in the movie, New Year's Eve happens in the movie, but
Yep.
it's not an overly Christmas movie. It's a movie about relationships with yourself, relationships with others. And I think it's a fun, cute little movie.
We did a whole episode on the holiday
Yep.
Mhm.
last year, year
Mhm.
before, a couple years ago. And since then, it has become a regular part of our rotation this time of year that Erica and I sit down and watch because we really enjoyed it and it was a lot of fun. It's her favorite Jack Black movie. And I can say that with full confidence because she does not like any of his other movies.
It's because he does the doodly doos, huh?
Yeah.
He does the doodly doos.
So when we were dating and we watched a Brian Regan special one time, one of the things she pointed out
Well-
about him is that he goes on and on and on, and that kind of drives her nuts. And I think Jack Black kind of does the same thing where he latches onto something and he just keeps going.
Dog on the bone.
I think it's hilarious most of the time. But anyway, I do like the holiday. I think that's a
What
great
about,
pick.
what about his appearance in Weird Al?
Yeah, she hasn't watched Weird Al yet.
All right, because he's
He's great
Great
as
in
the
that.
Wolfman. Yeah, he's really good in that. Yeah, it's either this or Nacho Libre. I think they're close.
mm.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a long car ride home.
It won't be. My wife is wonderful and she knows she's great. She has a great sense of humor. She married me. She has to.
All right, my last movie is one that we talked about in our Avatar episode, and that is The Chronicles of Narnia.
That's a great choice.
That's a good one.
It's a great choice.
Yay, I have one in a row out of my 3 movies.
I liked your last one
Okay,
too.
so the holiday, but you can't vote. It
Yeah.
has to be a vote. I know I have one vote for
I do
the
what I want.
holiday.
Yeah. Now you have
But
one
yeah,
for Lion, the Witch, and the
the
Wardrobe.
Lion, the Witch, in the Wardrobe. For me, when I first saw that movie in theaters, because it was a book that I think most of us read
Oh,
as
yeah.
a kid
Yep.
over and over
Love
and
that
over, and I
series,
was
yeah.
like, "What is going to happen in this movie?" It needs to be magical, and it was, but it wasn't like so overly magical that you didn't still feel like the sorrow and the despair of the characters, which you feel so much in the book. But I like watching this movie during the holiday season.
So 2 things that I'm going to say. When you said we talked about in the last episode, I've been spending the last 3 or 4 minutes thinking, when did we talk about it? And I'm the one that talked about
Yeah,
it in the
you
last
brought it up.
episode. Yeah. So we're doing great. And the second thing, I love the Chronicles of Narnia. We have a Lucy because of the Chronicles of
Aw,
Narnia. That is where
yeah.
her name came from.
Yay.
When she discovered her name was in that book, she thought it was so cool. And
Aw.
she loves these movies because Lucy, in my opinion, is the Samwise Gamgee of these movies. She
Yeah.
is the hero.
And I have a Sam and you have a Lucy. So
Yep, perfect. Yep.
There you go.
And I do love this as a Christmas movie. It's not just because it's winter the whole time, but Santa Claus does make an appearance in this movie and gives them gifts. So it totally counts. Love it.
awesome.
All right, here's my list. Now,
Okay.
I told you guys that I was doing a theme within a
you did an
theme.
Inception.
It's like a Russian nesting theme.
What?
It's an enigma wrapped in a theme, wrapped in a movie.
So my first movie is a stretch, and it doesn't actually have Christmas in it, but it came out on Christmas, so I'm counting it. So this is very
Okay.
loose. It came out on Christmas last year, and that's Wonder Woman 1984.
Gross.
That's fine.
Okay.
Now I
Let's
didn't
see
say
where this is
gross
going.
when you said Iron Man
I'm
3.
sorry, but that movie is gross.
This is also, I think, my weakest contender.
It is. It's the weakest contender
I
ever.
don't expect to win with this one, but I needed it to complete the theme that I'm doing.
So do you really like it, or did you put
You
it
know,
in there?
I think it is one that gets a lot of hate, and I
Yeah.
think it deserves some of it, but I don't think it's as awful as everybody says all the time. Now, the first Wonder Woman is just miles above this one and way better. But like on Christmas when I'm sitting there and the kids have opened the
Especially-
presents and I've got nothing, it was fine.
Especially when COVID is happening and there's like, we were starving for
I had to
Yeah.
apologize to Dave for making him watch that when I had to watch the screener, and we were at his apartment and we like weren't together yet, and I'm like, I am so sorry.
You're like, is
Listen,
this a relationship
this is-
breaker?
My feeling
Then we
on
turned on some Tiger King and we were fine.
my feeling on Wonder Woman 1984 is it was good, but it could be better. You guys need to have seen it, obviously, to
Yeah,
get.
I
saw
try to
once
put it in the
came out,
black
and
hole
that
of things I don't remember
Okay,
watching.
but that's his whole thing, right? That's what Paige does the
Yes,
whole time.
yes.
Is it's good, but it could be better. So that's my first one.
Jake's like,
And
I don't feel so bad about Iron Man 3 now.
Okay,
That's,
but my next two, I
think I
think
just-
my
he's
next
an
two
actor.
are
That's where I was with that movie.
I think stronger contenders. So my second one is Shazam,
okay.
Okay.
another
I thought about
DC
that one.
movie. It came out in April, but the whole thing takes place at Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
I thought this movie was so well done and so much fun, and I loved the interaction between the kids. I loved the
Oh.
interaction between Zachary
He
Levi
was-
and the kids.
I don't know the Shazam character from the comics.
I don't very well
I
either.
knew nothing about it other than he was a kid who becomes an adult. I thought Zachary Levi perfectly captured the kid in
I
the
do
adult
too.
body. And when he's like, dude, I can shoot lightning out of my fingers, I just the excitement that he brought to it.
Yes, and his
so
interaction
fantastic.
with the other kid is great.
Yeah.
And as they're doing that superhero montage that you always get where they're discovering their powers, that's so
Is
much
Peter
fun.
Gunn killing Shazam too?
Well, I don't know. They haven't said. Shazam, that's the other one that I forgot. Shazam 2 is coming.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Okay.
I think The
I
Rock
don't think
killed
you're going to get
Shazam.
another Black Adam. And in fact, they asked The Rock if he would do a cameo in Shazam, and he hates the character Shazam and said no. So
Why do we let him anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're getting
there's
the
no
But-
official word on that, but I think that's one that might be safe.
But it does
Although
happen
the
to
kids are getting
older, and that makes it harder. That
Yeah.
anytime you've got kids as main characters, it makes it harder to do sequels unless you have time
Stupid
lapses and
kids.
things.
By Shazam 3, it's a man turning into a man.
Yeah.
It's Shazman.
I'm just
Shazman.
Man.
every time we say something like that, I think of Jojo Rabbit. I'm just a fat kid in a fat kid's body. One of the best lines in cinema ever. And this does happen at Christmas time. They're at the Christmas market at the end, and that's where he gets lost and separated from his mom, who doesn't want to find him in the movie. Spoilers. And the director has something out for Santa Claus in this movie because like Santa gets beat up multiple
A lot.
times in this movie.
So
I was okay with it.
this
Yeah.
is one of my favorite movie going experiences. in
Yes.
recent memory, because we
This is
went
one of
to
my
the
favorite stories.
opening night. Or no, it was a screening.
It was
Yeah.
a
We had
screening.
a preview screening, but it was one of those where it wasn't just press; it was all the people. And I don't even remember what scene it was, but something happened, and I just started laughing. And like this little 8-year-old kid next to me goes, "Dude, that wasn't funny." And then that just made me laugh even harder. And the kid was like,
He got called out.
he
Yeah.
got so mad that I laughed at what he said. But
And I think sitting next to you is probably the reason why I enjoy this movie so much, because it was
I have a
just
big
entertaining.
obnoxious laugh. It's just
I love your laugh. I wouldn't call it obnoxious at all.
I have a drinking game where I watch The Big Bang Theory, and I take a drink every time I hear Tracy's laugh.
Hey, babe.
babe.
All the babes.
Hello, babe.
You're babe now.
There's an episode, yeah, where
Well, thank you.
So you have a drinking game.
Every time you just call babe.
Every time he watches The Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
he can pick out my laugh.
which it's funny you bring up Big Bang Theory. We came home and we watched an episode on HBO Max last night, and they walk in the comic book store, and the first thing they say is, "Can you believe that they're making 4 more Avatar sequels?" I'm like, this is so weird. I came home from watching Avatar sequel, and they're talking about it. So it was
That's
interesting.
great.
All right, so that's my second one. I
Okay.
think it was better received than my first one.
Okay.
So my third one, to complete the theme, Batman Returns.
Okay, so it's a superhero thing.
Since-
All right. I'm
since
with you.
DC
Since
superhero
Okay.
Dave
theme.
is standing
Okay.
here, can I tell him your first one?
No,
First
Well-
one, what? Your first time?
no, my
No.
first, no, yeah, we're not there yet in our relationship. But the first movie I picked was Wonder Woman 1984. She said that's one of your favorites.
Do you not watch movies at all? Like, is that your first one?
Okay, there was a
He's
reason.
not
How did you get here?
I
You
needed.
win.
You have lost babe status.
Listen,
You're not.
I
babe
needed a
anymore.
DC movie that fit in with the Christmas theme, and it came out on Christmas Day. That's why I picked it. I didn't expect it to win or
Jake-
get any votes.
Jake owned the microphones.
Yeah, that's it. I have
Chair.
all of this is my equipment. That's why I'm on the
So
show.
you're the power. There's
Yeah,
power behind
yeah,
the mic.
yeah,
So here's my opinion.
yeah.
So Batman.
Batman Returns is my favorite Batman movie.
Uh-huh.
It is the most Tim Burton of the Tim Burton Batman movies. I love the origin story that we get for the Penguin in this. I love Catwoman in this, like her origin
Michelle
story.
Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer
It's
does great.
Yeah.
And Christopher Walken as the actual real bad guy is fantastic in this.
Is it like Max von Schreck or something?
Yeah, yes,
That-
Max. Yes,
I
and
think that's what his name was. Yeah.
Plus, you get Pee Wee Herman, a brief cameo as the
Yes.
Penguin's father.
yes,
Oh, that's right.
and
It's been a while
and
since I've seen that.
he's great as the Penguin's father. I like Michael Keaton as Batman. I remember when this movie came out. If you remember the Batman, the 1989 Batman was like the Christmas present I wanted the year that it came out on
Uh-huh.
VHS. And when this came out, I mean, I remember McDonald's was doing the plastic cups that you get with the supersized meal or whatever, and I collected them all and loved this movie. And it happens at Christmas time.
That's a solid pick.
So
And I, like
I
the
feel like my
inception of it.
second two picks redeemed my first one.
I think we both so far have had like the first pick where people are like, eh, and then our second two.
Well, my
picks have been
first pick
strong.
made Dave angry. Yours didn't.
He's not ever gonna get angry about Iron Man 3 because he wants to love me
Yeah.
and he wants me to be happy. All right, Tracy.
That makes sense.
All right, my first one is not going to get booed. My third one probably.
So you're going opposite of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
All right. See, I led
Um,
weak and you're going strong. Got
I
it.
also did a movie that we have discussed previously on the
Okay.
show. It's also a rom-com. And when you started to say that, I thought we were on the same.
Oh, it
page
might be
here,
one that I almost picked but didn't.
But I went with While You Were Sleeping.
Hmm.
Oh, great. I'm not even going to get my wife's vote now. I'm not even going to get her vote. She's not picking Batman Returns over While You Were Sleeping. This has turned into a disaster for me.
Is it going to be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, though?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's
Sweet.
one of her favorite Christmas movies.
All right.
So,
I feel good about this.
yeah.
No booze. And I got a vote. So this is great. No, I won't take a whole lot of time because that's one that we talked about in depth, but it's just Sandra Bullock is just great.
She is.
And I love the fact that it was coming off of Speed. It was something completely different. And I think honestly, this is kind of what launched
Coming
her-
off Speed, the movie. She wasn't coming off Speed. Just,
that we know of.
well,
I'm assuming not.
it wasn't in the press.
Right.
It was before the internet, kids, so we don't really know what was going
It
on.
was before Speed 2.
Oh my gosh.
I think at that point they just backed up the Brinks truck and she
I
couldn't
think
say
I'd
no.
actually watch that movie over.
Just stop. We've already moved on. We don't have to go back. We are talking about happy things now. So while you were sleeping.
While You're Sleeping came my second one, Rocky 4.
Oh man, how did I not?
I almost put. There are two Rocky movies that happened during Christmas, and I almost picked one of them.
So I went Rocky 4. Well, you've got the whole Siberian winter, right?
Which is awesome.
But then after he beats
Drago, yeah,
then he calls his son and tells him he needs to go to bed, and wishes him a Merry Christmas.
yeah, because Santa's gonna come. He's got to be in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Rocky 4 is a great movie.
we need to do a
We've
show
done
on
it
soundtrack.
on soundtrack. Okay.
And that one was one of my favorite soundtracks growing up. Like I had it on cassette, and I wore out 3 copies of that cassette listening to it.
That time frame for soundtrack. We were at Walmart the other day and they had the record, the vinyl for Top Gun, the original
Oh,
soundtrack, which
yeah.
is another great
Uh-huh.
soundtrack. It's in that same era.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocky
Oh.
4 is a good choice. You might have my vote with that one. I'm not even voting
I've
for
got
myself
multitudes
now.
of votes.
I'm not even voting for myself.
And so then the third one, this one's a very obscure one, and I don't know if either one of I know you haven't seen it. I'm not sure if Val has. Blake might have. This is a dark, black comedy, like pitch black dark. The Ref. with Dennis.
Oh, the
Leary,
ref.
with
I forgot about that
Kevin
movie.
Spacey. And there's a line. There's so many great lines in this, but this is one of my favorites. And somebody says, let's see, I just had it. Oh, the boy says, Santa doesn't drink champagne. Santa only drinks milk. And he says quietly, listen, Santa can't drink no more milk. Santa has lactose intolerance and it gives horrible gas pains. Do you want to see Santa farting down everybody's chimney? I mean, there's some great lines, and most of them are rated. That's one where the whole premise is that there's like this couple or like this family celebrating Christmas, and they get kidnapped, and they all have to be together, and they start driving the kidnapper nuts because the family just argues and bickers. And the other one that's really great is Kevin Spacey gives a great version of this line. He says, "You know what I'm going to get you for Christmas? A nice big wooden cross. So anytime you feel like you're not appreciated, you can just climb up there and nail yourself to it." And it's just the way he says it is just great. But Pitch Black, very dark comedy. But
Yeah, that'll make the season merry and bright. Sounds wonderful.
it's like Violent Night. Sometimes you need that extreme opposite, you know. Like
Sometimes,
Bad Santa.
every time.
I
Avatar needed more loose limbs flying.
we have. Well, can we get into spoilers now?
well,
I mean, I don't.
this is
we did
coming
have
out
fun.
on Monday, and
Yeah.
I
don't
just
wanna
said
catch
loose
him off
limbs.
guard.
I didn't like
Yeah.
say how or what or when.
Yeah.
Loose limbs.
We got
loose
one,
limbs
but
sink
got one
ships.
more.
No, that's loose lips. It's different.
Okay.
Different
$2
thing.
billion worth of loose limbs.
Yeah.
All right, Blake. Do you
All right,
have
let's
your
go.
movies?
So I really didn't look for a theme, but I came up with a theme.
Okay, those are
All my movies come from the 90s.
Okay.
I like that theme.
And I realized that if I were to make a top 10 of my favorite films of the 90s, these three films would be in the top 10.
Wow.
Okay.
all right.
So none of them really are like taking place at Christmas as far as the movie as a whole, but there are Christmas scenes in each movie.
Okay.
Okay.
So I felt like that
Yeah,
qualified.
absolutely.
Well, if
Yeah.
I'm going to qualify my first pick that we're not going to mention because we don't want to make Val angry again, that qualifies
Are
absolutely.
you talking about Wonder Woman 84?
Thanks, Blake. Thanks. She's eating.
All right. My first pick is Babe
Oh.
because
Babe.
there's two scenes that stand out. Ferdinand the Duck,
Yes.
when he learns of what Christmas dinner is all about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we get the classic line, Christmas is carnage.
Just so true.
such
If
a
you have
good
kids,
scene.
you know it's true.
And then Babe, not really getting the source of Ferdinand's anxiety,
Mhm.
starts singing jingle bells to himself. As the movie progresses, Farmer Hoggett, played by the great James Cromwell,
Yes.
is meticulously building this very cool dollhouse. And it turns out that he's building this dollhouse for one of his granddaughters. Well, later on in the movie, it's Christmas morning. The family's over at the Hoggett house. The little girl opens up her present, which is the dollhouse that Grandpa has spent so long and so much time
Mm-hmm.
creating out of his love for his granddaughter. She shrieks. The mother says, "What's wrong?" And she says, "It's the wrong one. I wanted the one on the television."
Oh my gosh.
gosh, I forgot
And
about that.
I love
forgot
that
about
scene.
That is, again, Christmas is carnage. And in that scene, if you have children, you understand that is how it goes Christmas morning. It's the wrong one. Love you too. Merry
The
Christmas.
look on Farmer Hoggett's face when the granddaughter says she wanted the one on the television. It's just this look of, I give up.
I'm out. I'm out.
I'm gonna burn this house down.
With everyone in it.
I mean, it's a dollhouse, so.
Take it out.
I would say he's burn the whole house down. Just the whole farm gone. Can't deal with these people anymore.
RMU. All right. Second one goes a little bit darker direction than Babe.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to lighter that they, yeah.
But the first act of LA Confidential
Oh, yes.
takes place at Christmas time.
Yes.
And in fact, the inciting incident that takes us from Act 1 to Act 2 is something that, in the context of the story of the film, the press calls Bloody Christmas. And what happens is a bunch of Latinx men are
Not X-Men, but just
they are brought in Christmas Eve.
I don't want people to think it's the wrong movie.
They are brought.
Thanks, Val.
I was worried that X-Men were in LA Confidential.
It would have been a better movie. I didn't really care for that movie.
I liked LA Confidential.
It would have been a better movie,
I'm with Blake on this one.
especially the fact it takes place in the 1950s and there have been some time travel
Right?
and some really nice convoluted
Right?
X-Men
Make that movie
storytelling.
happen, Blake. Make that movie happen.
X-Men work when it's more and more convoluted.
But
More-
anyway, there's these prisoners of color that are brought in, and of course everyone but the who's the Australian actor, young guy.
Crowe?
The other Australian actor.
Hugh Jackman. This seems before his time.
Keep
No,
talking
in
about
fact,
what
he
you-
was in
Colin
Iron
Farrell.
Man 3.
Oh, oh yeah. I can't think of his name now.
Okay. Anyway, everyone at the police station's been drinking except for him because he's
Right.
the sergeant on duty. And
Guy
anyway,
Pearce. Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce,
There we
thank
go.
you.
And another Kevin Spacey movie. Got two Kevin
Spacey. Because
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey, before he shows up at the precinct and the brawl happens, he arrests some actors, some young actors who have been toting the marijuana, the Mary Jane, the weed.
All the names.
And Danny DeVito's tabloid reporter is
right.
there waiting outside when they're taken out for
Mhm.
the exclusive pictures. So anyway, my third movie goes in a very different direction than LA Confidential.
Okay.
And this movie, again, is not about Christmas, but there's some very important parts of the movie that take place at Christmas time. And this is Little Women.
Oh, that's a good one.
You guys all pick
that one
movies that
was
my
like-
wife would
I
love
was
more
like
than I
going
did.
back and forth because I can watch
Little
Little
Women?
Women all the time. But yeah, it's like has such a great Christmas scene.
And I've watched all the Little Women adaptations, and I like them all.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad
But
you
my
mentioned
favorite
adaptations. It would
one-
have sounded weird if you just watched all Little
I
Women.
like all the
I watch all the Little Women all the time.
Wow.
Yes, I'm not going to
Wow.
say
I'm
that.
just saying.
Blake's like moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. Nope. I love it when you
But
have
my
props.
favorite of the
Tracy.
adaptations is the 1994 one with Susan Sarandon and Winona Ryder, and Christian Bale. And the movie opens at Christmas time. And there's very important moment for the girls in the movie where they're convinced by their mother to give up their Christmas meal to take it to an immigrant family who has lots of kids and very little food. And I love the contrast of the girls when they first are asked to do it, they don't want to do it like any teenage girl.
Right.
I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up my Christmas breakfast
Right.
because this is a family that has also had to sacrifice because their father is taking place during the Civil War. Their father is off at war, and they don't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the rich neighbor across the street tells Laurie, the Christian Bale's character, they were once one of our finest families. The family's fallen on hard times. But once the girls get out and they're walking to the place where they're going to deliver the food, it changes and they start singing, "Here We Come a Wassailing." And then it becomes fun for them.
Right.
And they get into the spirit of what they're doing. There's some other Christmas related stuff that happened later in the movie. Father comes home from war at Christmas time.
I feel like there's multiple Christmas times.
Well,
Yeah.
he's injured.
Yeah.
He's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
That's right.
He's
yeah.
injured, and then there's this whole thing of whether or not he's going to live, and then he comes home at Christmas time.
Right.
the girl who gets sick from scarlet fever
She gets
and
piano.
eventually dies. She gets the piano from the neighbor across the street who goes through his own story arc. And then the oldest daughter, Meg, she gets engaged at Christmas time too. So it's like Christmas represents some of the best of times for
Yep.
this family.
Yeah.
That's a great choice.
All right.
All right, now
Okay,
we
we need audience participation.
need.
So I think what we need to do is you need to narrow down your favorite from each, and then we'll vote on that. So
Should we do secret ballots so they're not afraid to vote for Wonder Woman
they're
84?
not afraid. I know these people. They're not afraid. All right.
Good, so you're on board with it then. We're all
Okay, so
voting
out
for
of the
Wonder Woman
three-
84.
Iron Man 3, The Holiday, and Chronicles of Narnia, which one?
Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia.
Narnia? The Holiday. It's three.
We got
It's
two
2 to
votes.
1.
2 to
What?
1.
Iron Man 3.
Oh,
2-1-1.
yes.
2-1-1.
Iron Man 3,
2-2.
2-2. Okay, we need a tiebreaker.
That's not on the
That's not
table,
on the
babe.
list.
Iron Man 2.
All right, it's either has to be Narnia or Iron Man 3. Okay, well, out of these, we have to pick one for
This is like a
ahead.
real election. You've got to pick one of the bad choices. That's all we have. There's no good choice.
What is the lesser of two evils?
Narnia or Iron Man 3? Narnia. Okay. All right, Narnia, and then year 3.
Wonder Woman 84.
Boo.
You don't have a vote.
There's
I
no.
can still boo you.
Batman Returns or Shazam.
Okay.
Shazam. Okay, we're gonna go with Shazam.
All right.
Shazam.
Shazam. Yeah. As Gomer Pyle would
Okay.
say.
Next.
All right. While you were sleeping,
Yes.
Rocky 4
Yes.
and The Ref, which
While you were sleeping. Okay,
I think while you were
sleeping.
sleeping
Sleeping is the
one
winner.
still.
All
I
right.
appreciate the Rocky
Yes.
4 vote
Okay.
though. Thank you.
Babe.
Babe,
Hey babe.
LA,
Babe.
No, the movie this time. It's the pig, not you.
LA Confidential. And Little Women. The 1994 Little Women.
oh, we got a tie.
Babe. All right. So, Babe
While you were sleeping,
Shazam.
and Narnia.
So which
All right. So, out of those 4, we have to pick the ultimate non-Christmas Christmas movie. Whatever's leftovers for you. All right. So, okay. Who? And you can only vote for one, so we're gonna go through. Who is voting for Narnia? We got one vote for
One for
Narnia.
Okay.
okay.
Who is voting for
Okay. So you got 2 for Narnia.
2 for Narnia?
Shazam. Who's voting for 17? Wow, no, 3.
Three.
3. That's still a good
for
number. 3.
That
Shazam.
is good. While you were sleeping.
2.
I'd like to point out my wife did vote for Tracy's.
Babe.
Babe, anybody?
Babe, the Gallup Pig.
Babe,
All right, our winner.
surprisingly,
Don't say it like that.
Shazam.
Shazam
Shazam
wins.
Is the favorite non-Christmas Christmas
All
movie.
right.
You get a night out with your wife. We're not paying for the babysitter.
You get to go someplace and watch Nope.
No, he's not allowed to watch that movie. Hand him a black envelope from the Megaplex.
Black envelope.
You've got
This is good for award season. You know, award season coming.
Do-
Black
do
like
envelope.
a- do a
Should I
Johnny
do I
Carson.
read
Yeah,
it now?
you can open it if you'd
Who
like.
won?
You do a Johnny Carson. I see. Yeah.
He's-
That's old.
Who's Johnny Carson? I'm just kidding.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I remember my grandparents talking about him.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Marvel and DC getting a fight over a superhero name. Who is Captain
This is
Marvel?
why you're the screenwriter of the group. Yes.
Well, this is
Okay.
exciting.
So you
Gotta
have
tell us what you
2
got.
tickets to a movie.
2 tickets to a movie,
Don't
and then
go
a
see
large
that movie, it's
popcorn.
awful.
It is awful.
All right, now you have the hard. You have the hard job tonight. You get to look out into the audience of sweaters, and you get to give this prize out to the
Also
best
from the
ugly
Megaplex.
Christmas sweater.
Oh, the llama.
All right, llama.
Yeah, that,
Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to
Now
recognize
you
this.
stood
Is
up and I
this a
saw the
last
rest of
Jedi
it, I was
shirt that
like-
you're wearing?
We need to get this
Yeah.
on.
I am so happy about this
Yeah, we
because
need
it's
this
like
on camera.
today or
Yeah,
that
there
it
we
came
go.
out, right?
Nice
5 years
Mama
ago.
sweater.
All right, so you get the Megaplex bucket. You get to refill the bucket. You get 2 of the refillable mugs. You get 2 popcorns, 2 movie passes. Don't trip over that. Thank you, Megaplex.
Yay!
It's a mega prize. Okay, and now I want to kind of explain this. All right.
Because this is an awesome prize.
This is an awesome
cool.
prize and a really fun game. And we will be giving this away on our Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Yes.
When this episode comes out, we're going to ask a question about the episode. You have to go on and answer it on our social media. Then a random winner will be chosen. And then you come here to Galaxy of Games and you pick it up.
Yep.
Marvel's Crisis Protocol.
And while you're here at Galaxy of Games, you can finish your Christmas shopping because there's just a ton of stuff here that is perfect for someone or everyone on your list.
Absolutely.
So awesome.
All right.
Well, we did it.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Everyone.
Merry Christmas.
everybody.
Merry Christmas, you all building a loan.
That's an old
That-
reference.
Yeah, but people watch It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know a lot of people that are still watching Carson.
I'd rather watch Carson over It's a Wonderful
I bet more people.
didn't ask
I bet
who
more
would
people
rather.
are watching
Oh, wait,
It's a
wait,
Wonderful Life than
wait,
Wonder
wait.
Woman '84.
That's
the
probably
question.
true.
Wonderful
That's
Life
probably
or
true.
1984?
I should have picked It's a Wonderful Life because that's another one that even though it happens at
Can I,
Christmas,
like-
it's not a Christmassy
Can I
movie.
clean somebody's bathroom instead of watching either of those movies?
Sure, we've got 2 bathrooms, so you can clean one instead of watching one. And
Speaking of It's a Wonderful Life,
Yes.
sometime around Christmas, do yourself a favor and Google the lost ending of It's a Wonderful Life.
okay,
It's a Saturday Night Live skit
I think I've seen this
from
before.
the
Yes.
80s. It is
I kind
awesome.
of remember, but it's been a while.
This
Yes.
is what I would watch that.
Okay,
I'm a Scrooge about It's a Wonderful Life. I think
You
it's
are.
depressing and I don't want to
it's
watch
not
it.
depressing.
I'm
It's-
okay if other people want
and
to
it's
watch
fine
it.
that you
It's
want to
from
watch
the
it.
late 80s. It's Dana Carvey playing the George Bailey character.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And Phil Hartman's Uncle Billy.
Oh,
Hartman.
Phil.
I could've done a whole-
Bless his soul.
Could've
Yeah.
done a
John
whole Frank
Lovitz
Capra
is
thing.
Mr.
That would've been
Potter.
good.
Oh,
And it is
It's a Wonderful
But
Life.
that
Shop
was a
around the
great
corner.
it is one of my
Yes.
all-time
Those are
favorite
actually
skits.
that was
movies.
such a
Saturday
good.
Night
It's a Wonderful Life. I would argue it fits in the category of what we did tonight.
I considered it
Yeah.
for my list.
yeah,
I almost did You've Got Mail. That was
yeah,
Yeah.
which is yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Galaxy of Games. Again, 1817 West, 9000 South.
Yep.
They're open. I think they're closed right now, but we're still here. You're open every day of the week or every day but Sunday. You can come and play games. You can buy games.
Every kind of game you can think of.
Yes.
Friends.
Retro
And we're
video
actually
games.
going to do another episode here sometime in 2023. And we're going
Yeah.
to have them on the episode. So
Yeah.
the owners. So come
Absolutely.
play.
And special thanks to guest Blake Casselman. And
Yes.
again, the name of your movie and when it's coming out.
It's called Limbo, January 23rd.
And thank you, Megaplex Theaters.
And thank you guys. God bless
Aw.
us, everyone. All right.
Whatever you do, do not watch Wonder Woman 19.
All right.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.